Today I'm going to take some coffee, the instant espresso, and I'm pouring some water in it. And I'm mixing it up, and I'm just going to set it to the side after I mix it up and let all those granules kind of absorb into the water. This is the same dish I use for the coffee every time, so it's a perfect size for me, and it gets me through a project. And if I have leftover, I just leave it and reconstitute it later. Now I'm grabbing some Stabilos. I usually keep about a dozen at hand sharpened. And then I have some Collage Fodder, just like little pieces of bits. And I've pulled aside some paper. Some of them have been coffee dyed, some have been black bean dyed. And now I have some stencils that I'm going to be using from Stencil Girl, and then this gel press. Now I've got some gesso. I just pulled out some paints, some different colors that possibly might land in this. I try to limit my supplies because then I get a little out of control. So I just pulled a few supplies out. A Dina Wakley spray, a spray bottle, clear gesso just in case, and then I found this little bingo thing. I thought I'd do that. And then I have my underpaper laid out so that as I'm doing stuff I can put the excess on it. And I also pulled some of my digital downloads from my website that I thought I could work on as well. So now I've laid down the jelly plate, and it's this floral pattern, and I've never used it before. A friend was using it and I bought it. She was showing it on her Instagram, and I was like, oh, I've got to have it, and just have never used it. So I thought this is the perfect time to use it. So now I'm rollering some green and some yellow, and then I'm taking the excess and going on that little bingo card there. And now I'm just taking and doing some partial prints on all this paper that I have. There we go. Putting it aside to dry, and then just continuing to work on these papers. Sometimes I'll work on the back side of them, and sometimes I won't. It just depends. Now it's getting kind of dry, so I'm adding some red in there. I actually like that red with the yellow and green. Now I'm using this coffee stain paper that I had. I did a bunch of coffee stain paper one day without any marks on it. I just thought I would try it, and I actually liked it. So now I'm working on the back of this printable. I use these in my journals, and so that's why I like to work on the back of these, because I make journals out of the paper, and it's kind of nice to have both sides have some type of mark on them. You can hear my dog snoring next to me. I'm so sorry. He has to be where I am, and I'm sitting on the couch doing this, and he is snoring. Sorry. Okay, so now I'm adding some more color to this plate. I actually am loving this plate. I bought 3 of them, so I will do some demos with the other 2 that I purchased as well, just because they're kind of cool. I love the marks that they make, and you don't have to work so hard, actually, so it's nice. And who doesn't love a botanical print? Like, I love that. Just cleaning it up a little bit. This black bean dyed paper is pretty. It's like got a purpley blue tint to it, and I really enjoy it. Okay, so now I'm going to lay that down on my underpaper just to get the impression. I was using up the leftover paint and thought, why not? Okay, so now we're going to use the stencils. I'm going to use the circles and then the X's. I got these from Stencil Girl, and I love them. I love anything circle, but these X's have been my most favorite stencil lately. I love it. I love the bold X's, and so I've had such a fun time with that one. So now I'm going to do, I like to do black, so I switched it up and did Payne's Gray, and then some of that maroon, and some pink, just kind of, it's like rose, I guess. And I'm just kind of working all over the plate, all over the pages. Kind of randomly, not in any, just kind of letting it go wherever. And I'll continue to do these on all these papers. So now I'm grabbing the X, and I am using that unbleached titanium buff or whatever it is, to just lay down some X's. I know you can't really see them real clear in here, but they do add some resistance whenever you're adding other colors and dyes and stains on there that I kind of like having. And so it may not be as bold as you think it is, but it's kind of a nice little touch. You could have done this in black, and it would have been really bold and pretty as well. Now I'm taking the Nickel Azel Gold and the Dina Wakley Turquoise Spray, and I'm adding different splash marks and mark making with the makeup sponge across some of the papers. So now I'm taking the Stabilo and adding some random marks across the pages. It is water soluble, so whenever you are adding so like at the end where I add some water to this, they kind of bleed a little bit, and I love that look. So I just kind of do random scribbles. Nothing too methodical, just adding some marks everywhere. It's kind of nice and adds a little grunge to the look of your background papers. Here I pulled out 3 different scribble sticks, and I just thought I'd see what kind of marks they could make. And it turned out that for this, I ended up only really liking that green gold, and I dipped the bottom of it into water so that it made a bigger, bolder mark. And then the cool thing about it is it's water soluble, so guess what? Whenever we spray, it'll bleed a little bit and be really pretty. The cool thing about working in batches like this is that you'll have a batch of papers that look like this, and then your next batch will be something different. And so you always have a good selection. So now I'm taking and I'm spraying all these papers with a little bit of water. Then I'm taking that coffee and just kind of layering it and swiping across these pages. And then when I'm done, I just take all these papers and I kind of squish them around in all that coffee goodness. And then I hang them up to dry. And it doesn't take long. I'm always surprised that it just really doesn't take long, because these papers are like, the one is printer paper. And I only have an inkjet, so part of that ink kind of will bleed a little bit, and I love that. At first I was kind of bummed that I have an inkjet and it's not going to hold that, but I love how it turns out. It's one of my favorite new things to do. Okay, so here are the finished papers. They turned out really nice, I think. They'll make some fun journals or just little vignettes. See there, I'm liking that little blank spot on there where the dye has faded on that printable. That black one, I really liked how it turned out. Lots of fun little pages here. I hope you enjoyed this, and subscribe for more, because I'll be doing more of these background paper videos for the 100-day project. Thanks for watching.